Welcome back to my channel. I'm Leann and this is Sewing with Leann. And this is my second video in a series that I'm doing about creating memory projects out of your loved one's shirts. So my dad passed away about a month and a half ago, and I brought home a bunch of his button-up shirts that he wore all the time, and I am making some special gifts for each person in my family. If you missed my first video, we made these memory pillows. So I made one of these for each of my siblings. There are five. I have 5 siblings, and I made one for my mom. And so if you watched that video, I told you to keep all the scraps that were left over from the shirts because we're going to be using those in future projects. And today I'm going to be showing you something that you can use with those pieces. So if you want to make a pillow like this, you can find all the information in that video. So today we are going to be making fabric covered frames. So these are like all over the place. I've been seeing them on Pinterest, on Instagram, on Etsy. They're huge right now. So people are taking just regular frames and they are wrapping them in fabric. And so I thought that would be a really, really great project to do to give to family members. So these were actually used from fabric that was left over from the sleeves that I cut off for the pillows. So when I tell you, seriously, keep all the scraps because I have so many more projects that are coming in the series where it's going to be using more scraps from the shirts. All right, let's get started. Okay, and here are the supplies that you're going to need for this tutorial. First thing is a picture frame. This one is just a really cheap one that I got on Amazon. I made sure that it had a mat with it because I want to wrap the mat as well. So you can, if you have one just around your house or a thrift store. I actually went to 4 different thrift stores looking for picture frames to use for this because I have 7 people that I'm making these frames for. I could not find a single one at a thrift store, so I ended up having to buy some from Amazon. I will link those if you want this particular one. And then you will need some kind of fabric. I am using one of my dad's shirts. This is actually leftovers from one of the memory pillows that I made. Remember in that tutorial, I told you to keep all of your scraps because this is actually just the sleeve. So for the memory pillow, we cut the sleeves off and I'm gonna use the sleeve to wrap the frame with. Then you will need some kind of spray adhesive. I'm using 3M multi-surface spray. It works really well. And then you will need a hot glue gun with glue sticks. The first thing I'm going to do is take my sleeve. I'm going to cut off the cuff at the bottom. I'm going to use a rotary cutter. And I'm just going to cut right across here. And then I'm going to cut just along this seam. And open it up. And since mine is really wrinkled, I am going to iron it very quickly. Okay, so now take your frame, take the back off, set that aside, then you can get rid of, this is just a piece of paper, you can get rid of that. And then take the mat and the glass out. Mine is actually like plastic. Okay, so these are the 2 pieces that we are going to be working with. You've got the wooden frame and then the mat. If you only wanted to do the mat, you could do that. Or if you only wanted to do the frame, you could do that too. I'm just going to roughly cut around the frame. So I kind of want it to go, I always like to cut off a little bit more than what I think I'm going to need because you can always go back and trim off. Just trim it right around like that. And I know I'm going to, let's see, trim some of that off. But for right now, that is good. So I'm going to set that one aside, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the mat. And then, of course, I'm going to keep the scraps for a later project. And so what you're going to do is you're actually going to spray the top of your frame. So the front of your frame, you are going to spray, and I like to also spray down the sides. Just make sure, like, you don't need to spray down the back. And then you will spray one side of your mat. Okay, so you only need a little bit of the spray. Okay, and then I just like to put some craft paper down, and then take your smallest piece, so then take your smallest piece and your mat, and then place it down just like that. Okay, and then do the same with your frame. All right. Okay, so now I'm just going to take a look and make sure the front looks good. All right, so now we are going to start hot gluing it around here. And so I am going to cut off a little bit on the side here. And then I haven't done this before, but I might try, I might try cutting right here. Just cutting out like a little square off right here to try and get that to lay a little bit flatter when I fold it up. So I'm going to do that on all four sides here. So now just take your hot glue gun and glue down, okay? And then you'll just fold this over. Try not to stretch it out too much because it could distort the fabric. And then repeat that for all four sides. Okay, and when you turn it over, it should look like this. So I'm going to set that piece aside for just a second, and I'm going to glue this one. All right, see, I think I'm gonna glue it and then trim off the sides on this. So I'm just gonna put a line of glue right down here. Fold this over. Okay, and then the sides here, you are going to fold those like you would a present. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put just a little bit of glue here. Just a little dot. And then fold this piece down. And then I'm going to bring that over. Yeah. And then I'm going to put another little dot here. Okay. And then actually I'm going to come over on this side and do it. And then do the same thing with this corner. So again, I'm just going to wrap that like you would a gift. I'm going to put a little bit more glue here because I really want that to lay down. Okay. Okay, and that looks a lot better. And then you're going to have your last side here. A little dot of glue. And then just like that. And then just glue down whatever fabric is left here. I don't have a whole lot there. All right, and then just glue that down. Now we are going to just kind of cut out a little rectangle in the middle. An easy way to do it, I just like to take my rotary cutter and just do an X, and then take my scissors and cut as close to that corner as I can. Okay, and then we will be wrapping. Do it a little bit loose here because I want there to be enough fabric give to where when I put my frame in, it's still going to go, so it'll still go into that slot. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to do some glue here and pull it over just like that. Okay. Okay, so when you turn it over, it should look like this, except mine has so much glue on it. Okay. And then you'll set that one aside and then get your mat, and you will do the same thing with it. I feel like this one is a little bit easier because you don't have like, it's not as like thick. Okay. And repeat for all the sides. Okay, so now your frame should look like that. And we can flip this over. The mat has to go first, and then the photo, and then the back. And there you go. Just gotta clean this up a little bit. The frame is done. And there you go. You have your finished frame. And I told you it was super quick, super easy. Again, if you missed the pillow tutorial, that will be linked so you can go back and watch that one as well. And please like and subscribe so that you will get notified of my next tutorial. Okay, I'll see you next time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.